Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Life Skills, and I want to catch my hair on fire to get everybody to pay attention to this one. Seriously, I don't know how to overemphasize this. There's just no way I could overemphasize it, as we're going to see today. It really is almost like the foundational one that makes everything else in life work, and it's basically real rocket science. You know what it is? It's listening. Now, when I say it's real rocket science, that's kind of like not rocket science, right? We ought to all kind of listen to each other. But here's the deal. We as humans just are wired to not do that naturally for a number of reasons, which we're going to go into, but we have to learn to do it because it is the key to making everything else work. Now, let me tell you why it is. If you look at your outline, it starts out with the reason to listen, and it says basically that it's about trust and connection. Okay, so here's the deal. Trust is what drives everything in life, and we're going to be talking throughout this segment about both your personal relationships and your business and professional relationships, because they both depend on trust. Here's the formula. Basically in life, that trust leads to investment. When we trust one another, what happens is basically the way that God has wired us is the whole system begins to open up, and we stop being guarded, and we open our pockets, we open our hearts, we open our minds to listen and to take in what somebody is trying to sell us. And I mean sell in a good way. You know, when somebody goes and proposes marriage to someone, they're trying to sell them on the idea that this is a great idea. Come spend the rest of your life with this person. Trust that they are going to be all these wonderful things, and then invest everything you have, okay? That's what drives everything. In personal relationships, it drives investment. On business side of things, it drives investment, financial resources, employees to invest their talents and their time with you as their boss, alliances. Everything is driven by trust. And here's what we know about trust. It's got a lot of elements to it, and we'll even unpack that some more, probably in other segments, different pieces of it. But here's the deal. The foundation to trust is that it comes from people feeling a connection with you that comes from the heart, okay? Now, included in heart, you can look at it just the heart, you know, who they are, but we're talking about their heart, their mind, their soul, their strength. The whole being is driven by trust. It's why we invest with each other, okay? So that's why we are after this. It is the most important thing, both business and personal. Now, the next point talks about those two contexts, okay? So let's look at the personal side of things, for example. Why do we talk about listening as most important? Again, because we're trying to build trust to maintain and establish and maintain a connection. And once you have the connection, then somebody is open, and then you're connected, and then you can actually develop a relationship and invest more and more of yourself with each other. But what happens is, if we're not connected because we don't trust, and you know, we don't trust mainly, now forget all the other stuff like whether or not you got a good track record with a person, or you got bad motives, or this, that, and the other. The first element to trust is that people, the human heart, above everything else, it wants to be known. I'm going to say that again. The human heart, above everything else, it wants to be known, basically meaning understood. Shouldn't really write over here in the corner of the board, but there you go. The human heart wants to be understood. It wants to know that before I trust you, I want to really know that you get me, that you know what I need, that you know what I'm feeling, that you know what I'm afraid of, that you know really what the outcomes are that I want. And all of these things, the human heart really needs to know that. And sometimes we don't really get to that heart unless we really begin to listen, because we don't listen. As we're going to see when we get into the barriers, we